Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another book review from me, your host, Logan Albright. I was recently in Scotland, as you may know, and I bought a bunch of books there, which I covered in my last book haul video. I love the British publishing industry. I just think there's something about it that's different than the American publishing industry. There's so many interesting titles that are put out, and the cover designs I think are so much better over there. Something I often complain about when I go into an American bookstore is all the covers look the same, and I really hate the way that they're designed, and it just seems like it's being churned out by AI, and there's no individuality to it anymore. And it really annoys me. But when I go to Waterstones in Britain, I'm just amazed by how many beautiful, well-designed covers there are, and well-curated collections. And like, there's this whole series of like cozy British mysteries that my sister's really into. That I've started reading some of them, and they come up with these great collections, and I love what they do. And a few years ago, I discovered this series, which I've talked about a lot. This Penguin sci-fi series, and these beautiful white and purple minimalist covers that are excellently curated and have lots of amazing books in them. And so I always look for more of those when I'm over there, and I'm not really finding them anymore. I don't think they're making them anymore. But there was a new Penguin imprint that I discovered when I was over there. It's the Weird Fiction imprint. And this is the title I bought from the Weird Fiction imprint, called Claimed by Gertrde Barrows Bennet. And I'll talk about this book in a second. It's quite slim. It's very easy to read. But I was just blown away by seeing this imprint over there, and really excited to check it out. It's very small. There's only like 5 titles in it, and I'd read, I think, 4 out of the 5. So I've read quite a lot of weird fiction, and I've covered a lot of it on the channel. So, but this is one I'd never heard of, and I thought it would be very interesting to read. And on the back, indeed, it says, the most important female writer of speculative fiction that you probably never heard of. Which is true. I had never heard of this author. And I love, that whole circle of Lovecraft's influences, and the people that he influenced, people he was influenced by, the people that were kind of in that milieu in the early 20th century. Algernon Blackwood is covered in this series. I love Arthur Machen. I love William Hope Hodgson. Of course, Robert Chambers, who did The King in Yellow. All that stuff is great. And so this is one that I'd never heard of. I don't remember seeing it mentioned in Lovecraft has this long essay called Supernatural Horror in Literature, which is basically a catalog of every kind of supernatural horror book ever written up to that point. It's really amazing, and it's a good reading list. I'll have to go back and check, but I don't remember seeing this one mentioned. But I was very excited to see a new book in this category by an author I'd never heard of. I really love the cover design. I love this kind of purple and orange. It's just beautiful. And it's very easy to read, very short, and I really liked it. I liked it a lot. The story is basically about this mysterious green box that has been rescued from some sort of desert island or volcanic island that has sprung up, and no one really knows what it is or where it came from or how to open it. And it falls into the hands of this sort of elderly miser type character, and he's obsessed with it and wants to figure out its secrets and wants to hold on to it, and is determined that no one's going to take it from him, even though people keep trying to take it from him. And he hires a doctor who comes and helps attend him and helps figure out what's going on with the box, and he falls in love with his daughter, and there's a little romance there. But the majority of the story is them trying to figure out what the deal with this box is. And it's it's like 150 pages. It's not very long, but it's got a lot of things that I love in it in terms of weird fiction. Mysterious artifacts, exotic locales, old gods, ancient deities, ancient religions, that kind of stuff, that kind of paganism that just features so heavily in Lovecraft's work. I really love that kind of stuff. And it's very mysterious, and you don't really get all the answers. You get some of the answers, but you don't get all the answers. And that's what I think is great about weird fiction, is when it evokes that sense of mystery and that sense of wonder. And like, there's more things in the world than we understand, and there's a lost world or a hidden ancient world that we don't know anything about. And there's just hints of it that kind of drift down to the modern era that we have to kind of piece together with ancient languages and artifacts and stuff like that. I just love all that stuff. So Gertrde Barrows Bennet, I don't know too much about her. She wrote a few other novels. She wrote under the pen name Frances Stevens. This novel came out in 1920 originally, so it's right around that same time period that all these other people were writing. I think this was her last novel. She wrote a number of others, which I'm now interested to going to check out. I think her most famous one is called The Citadel of Fear, something like that. It's like a Lost World novel. I'm excited to check it out. It's a little hard to search for her stuff because sometimes it's under Gertrde Barrows Bennet and sometimes it's under Frances Stevens. But it is out there and you can find it. And so I would very much recommend this book, Claimed, with an exclamation point. I like a title with an exclamation point, by Gertrde Barrows Bennet. It's a lot of fun if you're into weird fiction, if you're into that kind of Lovecraftian mix. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. And if you're like me, you haven't heard of her, because I certainly hadn't. And it's good to have someone else to add to your catalog in that regard. So that's all I have to say about this without spoiling any more of the details of it, because again, it's pretty short, so there's not a lot of plot to go through, but it has that great atmosphere of mystery that I love. And I love that the Penguin is doing these cool series. Even though I've already read most of the stuff in this one, I'd love to get more copies of this type of stuff. So let me know what you think. If you've read this book, if you've heard of this author, if it's worth seeking out the rest of her books, I certainly am interested in doing so. Leave me a comment down below. And if you like this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, and check back every Wednesday for another book review from me, your host, Logan Albright. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.